have a convex, then a concave, and then a convex movement in the land. This is a freestanding pyramid behind Temple of Mother Earth, again orientated north, south, east, west, and you see it's got a bulge, a convex, a concave, and then a convex. I include this for anecdotal because it's yet to be confirmed, but this summer Klaus Donner came to the pyramids, and he was happy to stamp his approval. He was very impressed with what we found. This is me and him in the new tunnel we discovered. But what he brought to us was, he says he has a friend working for the US military, and he works with satellites that are searching for deep underground military bases. And rather than sending a satellite here, there, retasking it every time, they would send a satellite around once, and it would map the whole world in a decaying orbit. And all this data then sits on a computer somewhere until someone needs that area analysed. They pull it up, analyse it. And so this data for this area was just sitting on a computer. And he asked if his friend could analyse it and give us some information to the makeup of the Pyramid of the Sun. And this is the image that he produced for us. As I say, we've yet to confirm how accurate this is. I don't see why he would make anything up like this. But what is interesting from this map is that one of the closest set of tunnels to the surface of the pyramid is spiral shape. And this is a repeating pattern that we're finding both on the Pyramid of the Sun, the Moon, and the tumulus. Now, why is it a spiral shape? Well, some of the physicists that have been here to measure it have suggested that potentially what we see here is a coil, a ginormous coil made out of natural materials, and this is inducting a current, and we are finding a perpendicular current at the top of the pyramid and the tumulus. So it does make sense that this would be a spiral-like shape. Okay. So why are they saying it's a hoax? You know, first of all, if someone's crazy enough to say it's a pyramid and it's a hill, you wouldn't waste any energy on that person. You would laugh at him and you would say, all right, yeah, it's a pyramid. It is a pyramid, and there's so much evidence that it is a pyramid compared to the evidence that it's a hill. If you were to speak to any of the archaeologists that have made famous quotes, such as it being a cruel hoax on an unsuspecting public, they cannot produce any field work. They've never been to the sites. To carry out a scientific investigation, you need field work, and they do have none to show. They've literally created a few articles and spouted some harsh remarks, usually discrediting Samir and ignoring the countless other scientists, archaeologists that have visited the site and concluded the same thing as himself. What we see in this photograph is Dr. Samir, some of the archaeologists and volunteers, and this is the local mayor of Visoko. And I met with him in the town hall, and he was very supportive of the project. He funds the project, and he, behind closed doors, he believes that there's pyramids, but as soon as there's a camera crew in front of him, it's all natural. It's not a man-made structure, and he boasts about his architect degree and how he was a professional architect, and yet for some reason he's too scared to say that it's man-made when there's a camera there. This is the medieval fort that they're reconstructing at the top. In fact, most of this is reconstructed. The fort had been all but demolished, and pardon?
Why you say so? Samir asked the mayor why he says so.
Why is there something implied, isn't there? And then it says it's natural.
Because probably because of external pressure from the European Union.
No one's actually asked him.
I'm sure that they might have, yeah. I didn't ask him because he's a politician, so I'm not going to get a straight answer from him. Well, yeah, so this is the reason why we can't dig to the entrance on the top of the pyramid. So the story is that in 2005, before Samir came to the Visoko Bosnian Valley of the Pyramids, no one knew of pyramids in Bosnia. This is a painting of a medieval crowning of a king. And could you just kill the lights a second? So you can get a good image of this. Cheers. Behind the crowning scene is a pyramid, clear as day. Also,
Point it out, please.
pardon?
You point it out, 'cause it's not that. Oh, cool. I was looking up before we
I was
did.
looking above, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone happy that is a pyramid behind the king? This is the flag of Bosnia with a triangle on it, pyramid. They're playing jokes at us. And another interesting thing I found out this year was that before World War II, all Bosnian passports had pictures of pyramids on them. Again, was there foreknowledge of the Bosnian pyramids before 2005? The official story that we're given, the narrative, is that before Dr. Samir discovered the tunnels in 2005, the entrance to the tunnel was a cave, and it was used by the Yugoslavian army as an ammo dump and for training purposes. When we started excavating for the structure, we found these pipes, and it turns out that these pipes, which are about 120 metres into the tunnels, were placed there in the 1960s by, oh, you can see the pipes here, they were placed there in the 1960s in order to find an underground source of water, just randomly in the tunnels. And they were put there by this factory here called KTK. It's one of the biggest industries in the area. And on the grounds of this KTK factory happens to be another entrance to the pyramid tunnel network. And they supposedly didn't know it was a tunnel system, they just used it as a hole to dump industrial waste there, to keep people away. As the same as with the Yugoslavian army based at the other tunnel entrance. So perhaps somebody knew something we didn't from a long time ago. And it makes sense because military technology is what we know of is far advanced than what we know, And so the technology that Dr. Samir was able to use in 2005, the thermal imaging, the military had access to that a long time ago. So it makes sense that people in high places will have access to this knowledge. Could I have the lights off again, please? So these were first found, they were only seen in the tunnels once we breached through to the unsealed sections of the tunnels. And in this photo they may look like blurs or smoke, but in actual fact they moved around people, swirling and disappearing at will and then reappearing. And it wasn't smoke because when we were breathing, there's actually some videos on YouTube of this. When you were breathing out and you could see vapour, the vapour was moving in a different direction to these objects here. It's very interesting.
A snake.
Yeah. Pretty weird. And you're familiar with orbs. This was something else though. I don't quite know what that is. And this is another one of my favourite orbs that I found in the tunnels. Every time you go in these tunnels and around the pyramids, the orbs are ruining pretty much all of your photographs. They're very cheeky. And actually, when I first came to Bosnia, I was a skeptic of orbs. I hadn't really dealt with them or read much into them. And a few people working on site were convinced that these were balls of energy, interdimensional entities, really out there theories. I heard some theories were mind-bending. But I had the time to recreate the conditions, or try and recreate the conditions, because if it's dust, or water. That's what skeptics say. I tried to put dust and water and all kinds of things in the same location. All my photos, I'd make sure that there wasn't any dust falling or water dripping, and absolutely, the area in front was clear as day, and these things were popping up. So I'm sold by these things, whatever they are. Any questions? I'm coming to the end of my talk now on anything I've covered.
What do you think the odds are?
I really don't know.
I mean, you didn't see anything there, so when you took the photo,
Well,
was nothing there?
on the pyramid of the moon, I was able to see them with my own eyes. The sky was full of them, but that's the only time I've seen them on the moon pyramid. Everywhere else, I only see them
But they-
afterwards.
They were in the sky?
Yeah, all over, in front of me, in the distance. Absolutely. So,
There's there's just about the naming of the pyramids again.
Yeah.
Is it meant to be the person who discovered
Dr. Samir named them, the Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon, because of their relation, shadow-wise. They match the same as in the South American pyramids. The dragon represents knowledge, and Temple of Mother Earth because he wanted to bring into focus the fact that as a race we're damaging the planet, and because this project is so international, these pyramids belong to all of us, all across the world. He wanted to put a focus on the planet Earth, so he named it. And the Pyramid of Love, his reason being that he wanted, wants to create a positive energy in the area, which is very positive.
I just those medieval pictures. I just seen that there seems to be a little bit, So.
What I'll end with saying now. Oh, my question.
Can I have two questions?
Yeah, sure.
First one was about, the diamonds.
Yeah.
Is there any plans to go deeper?
I'm returning there in January, and
Cool.
we're going to start excavating.
Cool.
Fine. Yeah.
And my other question was, kind of, have you read taking it away? You just like kind of go and put a big, new tunnel in there.
Yeah.
Are you worried that you might be kind of affecting, it's been built for a purpose?
Yeah.
And
Well,
knocking
I'm
off
trying
the
to be
channels and
very diplomatic.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too negative on this talk, but obviously his destructive method of investigation, it wasn't my idea, but it's how it is. It's almost a little bit desperate, in fact, that there's no money now. So the foundation's struggling, and we need to continue the work. And so it's any means necessary, really, to find something so substantial that it can't be just pushed under the carpet. Any question? Oh, fine.
Is the oldest known civilization from around that area as old as
Well,
the possible findings within the pyramids?
academic history will say that no one had lived in Bosnia until 3000 BC. There's some Roman cultures in there as well. But, I mean, the oldest acknowledged civilizations, Sumeria, at a push, at the end of it is about 8,000 years. So this massively predates that. Even if you take the youngest dating that we have of the soil build-up, it predates it by 2,000
So
years.
that would blow our common belief with regards to civilization.
Again, this is another reason why academia is so against this project. It literally changes absolutely everything we accept now currently about our history.
I couldn't quite understand where that wood was. You say it was in conglomerate. Was that in what you thought was natural?
Basically, the conglomerate that the tunnels are cut into, when that was deposited, wood had also been deposited along with the stone material that had fallen into the river. If it is a natural deposit, it had fallen into the river and then deposited along with the stones. And then it gets sealed in a vacuum, it's airtight, so it doesn't biodegrade. And that's where we're able to take it.
That doesn't really tell you about when the tunnels were cut into the...
No, it doesn't. But it does give us a date between when the pyramids were made, because if the pyramids are made from that conglomerate material, they had to have been made after they were deposited. So we can say between 12 and 40,000 years.
So the earth could have been was 40.
the earliest, yeah. But if the idea that the conglomerate is an unnatural deposit, it's actually part of a structure, then we don't know the upper age. We could say that it's the day that it was manufactured at 40.
So you're saying that it could be an unnatural conglomerate out of which they made the cement?
Yeah. Well, they might have used the same source of material, both of this and the tunnels. You see, the conglomerate itself is permeable, and it allows water to travel through the conglomerate, but underneath it there's a marl. And one idea is that as water is falling through the conglomerate, it's actually pushing this negatively charged water up through the ground, and you're actually creating soil which is then superb for agriculture because of the negative ions. We would enhance all the plants.
You mentioned the Tesla. I mean, it might be, I don't know much about the cloudburst. It sounds more like the cloudburst, because that's not doesn't actually have to be have any outside.
Well, yeah, it's a lot more passive than the Tesla design, but it
the cloudburst
operates in the
is,
same
isn't it?
principle.
You can come across the cloudburst one.
Yeah, it's like organ, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't really understand how that works, but if it works.
What I'll say now is this year, in the summer, there is a volunteer camp, and I would highly recommend coming to get your hands dirty.
That's my hands volunteering.
From June till September, anyone can come and help excavate the pyramids. This is a unique experience because it's a unique experience because usually, for starters, if you want to be part of an archaeological excavation, you need to be a qualified archaeologist. And second, it costs at least £1,000 to be a part of a digging excavation. And usually, if you watch Time Team, it's something really lame, like a few stones here, a few stones there. What we're dealing here with is a world-changing historical discovery that will blow your mind, because you will meet amazing people and literally your mind will be pushed into, literally pushed into other dimensions. This is my buddy James. I met him this year. Absolute legend. He was a volunteer as well. Will you come and give a... Come on, give a few...
You've got the talk and if anyone's got a spare 2 weeks next year to go to Bosnia, you will not regret it, because there's a lot of things going on there that I can't explain. I'm not like Richard, who's knowledgeable about these things, but it's changed me profoundly about the way I look at the world, the way I look at the way things work, the way how the questions we were told about where we come from and who we are. This place seems to have all these answers hidden within like the landscape, and you know, just go there for 2 weeks to experience the energy, and you won't regret it for nothing. I went there for 4 weeks, and I'm not looking back. It's changed my whole outlook on everything. Honestly, everything. Synchronicity. You've heard of synchronicity, haven't you? Where you mentioned something, coincidence, like your name maybe, for instance, and all of a sudden that person just appears. You know what it's like, don't you?
It happens every other...
You mention someone's name and you turn round and they're there. It's more than bizarre. The place is, it's magic. I can't put it into no more words than that. It's magic. It's more than magic. It is.
Cheers. Cheers. Thank you. Okay, thank you. That's the end of my talk. Any more?
Sorry.
One other question?
No. Yeah, he's sleeping in a hotel.
Pardon?
It's 21st
Are
century.
you intending on making this postgraduate study?
I don't know what I'm doing right now, because I'm doing this independently for now. I've been invited to do more studies at some university in Italy.
I'm sure some universities would pick it.
Well,
More open-minded than you think.
You know, the lead archaeologist, she's from Italy, she has a PhD, she's worked as a professional archaeologist for a few years. She's only young, she's 26 years old, but she's excavated tumuli, and she did a PhD thesis on the Etruscan culture. In fact, she's trying to rewrite the understanding of the Etruscan culture. So she's experienced with this kind of out there archaeology, and she's literally received dozens and dozens and dozens of emails telling her from quite high up there archaeologists that she will never work again, at an archaeological dig. So, for me, academia right now is kind of like the enemy, so to speak. Okay, any more questions? No,
On the photograph, where it says thank you for coming to listen, are those orbs? So,
yeah, there are some other orbs.
How do we go about signing up?
Oh yeah, if you go to Pardon?
I looked on the website, there's an application form that was for this year, which is already gone, I think.
Yeah, no, it's definitely up there this year. The official website is there. www.pyramidasunset.be. Yeah. Pyramida Sunset, it's spelled with an I, so P-I-R M-I-D-A. Sunset, which is S-U-N, Sun, S-U-N-C-A.
Bosnian pyramid hole. If you type that
.ba. And you'll find the link to the English site, it's all translated.
That's the main site.
I'll see you in the Thank you everyone, thanks for coming and listening.